Today's video, we're going to talk about ADClarity, which is an add-on to SEMrush, and how it's an actual joke if you plan on making money advertising your business. It's no patch to your business where you could say simply, oh, let's just copy our competitor's campaign and boom, we'll be rich, just like these other guys that are making 100 times what I'm making right now. That's all we have to do. Screw hiring an ad specialist or a person who actually knows how to run ads. We'll just use this platform. With that said, you can definitely glean some information from this platform. However, SEMrush is primarily selling to is naive people who don't know anything about advertising, and that this is just going to help you tremendously figure out how to make your ads work. And that's not most necessarily be the case in most instances, 90+% of instances, of which I'm going to explain exactly why that is on this particular video. So if you were planning on using this in any big way, I want you to know these key 5 facts here from somebody who's been advertising for 20 years online, has run hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different campaigns. The information that they're giving you might seem cool, but it's not that practical at the end of the day. So I will go through what all these things are, and then I'll give you some actual information on how to make money and how things really work and how you can really get things to work for you, with a couple case studies as to running display campaigns, social campaigns, where we didn't need to look at a competitor's stuff at all, because when you pave your own way and you just understand what works, you don't need to, and that's where the real money is ultimately at the end of the day. So but before I get into that content here, if you don't know who I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results to their clients. That is, we do not charge clients management fees until we can get them a certain minimum lift in the profitability of their ads up front. Basically in excess of what we charge as far as a management fee. We are the only agency on the planet who offers any kind of similar guarantee, which should tell you something about the quality of the information you're getting on today's video. So with that said, getting into the content. So this tool, ADClarity, allows you to basically target and study companies, campaigns that are doing about $100 million a year or more in revenue. Okay, which is why most people aren't going to benefit from it. If it had small company ad campaigns, that it would be way more useful. And I wouldn't be singing the tune I am if that were the case. Naturally, SEMrush does not have the resources to really use bots and proxies and all this to scan and get all the information about all the campaigns you would like, that are the scrappy companies who understand how to take truly $1 and turn it into $2 with ads and build a company from $1 million to $2 million to $3 million. The reason why the big companies aren't useful, just to lay it out in a simple way, is the way that big companies operate their advertising is not how small companies do. Small companies had to do something that actually worked at the beginning to get to be a big company. And then once they become a big company, they have these marketing departments. The owner's not involved anymore. The marketing people, just to be frank and fair about it, if they were excellent marketers, they would start their own firm, or they would go and start their own little company doing what they're doing, because they can make way more money that way than getting paid 80 grand a year to be a marketing specialist at a big corporation or whatnot. And so what you're actually studying is not the best and the brightest marketing people in the world, okay? Those people are good at taking a company up to from $1 million to 20 million using really savvy advertising techniques like I'm talking about on this particular channel. On ADClarity, the things you basically are paying attention to there if you're going to use the data. Still, after what I'm advising you not to do on this video, or want to use it as a secondary signal as to, look at what you can study from it, is you can look at your competitor that's doing that kind of revenue, their channels that they're on, namely social versus YouTube versus display ads, devices that they're on, and then of course the ads that they run, which, by the way, the main reason why you would want to use it is to look at example ad copy. Namely, what we're going to use it for is when you make a banner ad, the easiest way to make a good effective banner ad is to copy the layout of another banner ad that looks cool. Because it's really hard to lay out a banner ad with the small format and do it effectively. Same thing with social. It's kind of hard to get creative in terms of the look of the ad. You can take an ad from a whole different industry and use it for your market, or talking about looking at the layout of the ad and the animation, stuff like that. That's what we actually use it for. We're not using it to say, oh, this guy's running more video ads than before. Oh, that must be working. Because they're not getting real small companies that have to be able to take $1 and turn it into $2, and are forced to make their ads work. Because the big companies, once they get to a certain size, what they mainly get into doing is just blanketing the world with their ads, and they are just hoping that people who need to hire an orthodontist at some point in the future or get a domain name registered or whatever, they think of them first. And so it doesn't mean that it's not effective at all. It's just a whole different way about doing things. They could be a lot more effective if they did something called direct response marketing, where they have to have an ad that turns into a sale or customer right away, and it's directly measurable in that way. But they don't, because they don't have people that working on the stuff once you're over 100 million a year. You got lackey marketing people who don't give a shit about anything other than getting their promotion and sniffing their managers. They can get the next promotion. They don't actually want to care and don't need and want to care about making an effective ad campaign that will work much better than the one they have now, because the expectation is our revenue is growing a little bit. Okay, it's good enough. So the main reasons why ADClarity is not going to be useful to you, and there's 5 main reasons here, of which number 1 is most campaigns for companies this size don't actually make any money. And I know this because I've been around doing this agency at Guarantee PPC over 10 years. I've seen big company campaigns. I've seen small ones. Really small companies do a terrible job with their advertising because they can't afford anybody to help them at all, and they're busy. And the really big companies, I told you what the deal was there. And really where the genius is in the several $1 million a year category, because they needed to make it work to be able to finance all the overhead and growth of their company. And that's what you would want to copy, truly. Don't they have some sort of like checks and balances in their company that would not allow these marketing managers at these companies run a campaign that doesn't work? And do they track don't they track stuff? Yes, they do track stuff. But what they're willing to do is accept a campaign that gets a customer acquisition cost that's not directly profitable. So let's say you're selling teeth whitening kits. If they were to run that ad and get a profit from the ad cost directly, they would need an acquisition cost of $20. Really, what the big company will do is get an acquisition cost of like 50 to 100, and they'll say that's good enough because we're at least getting our name out there, and then the people who buy are going to refer, and we're going to build up the company anyway. And they want to run a big campaign, and they can't run a big campaign at a low acquisition cost, and they know that. They're just playing the long game. So they do track things to a certain regard. They just don't have the same standards as somebody who has a $1 million a year company that needs to get it to $2 million a year company, where every dollar's really got to count and directly contribute to the next part of their growth, so to say. And if you want to actually know the techniques that will do that, i.e. what they call in the marketing world direct response marketing, where you can run an offer on an ad, instead of having the teeth whitening kit, you can say, be able to click on this ad and you'll get to instantly see what your teeth are going to look like after you use this product. Just enter your email address. Something that's going to excite them and that you could turn into an actual customer, not something that says, we have great teeth whitening products. Nobody's going to click on that ad, and it's not profitable, if you will. Or offering a free sample of our teeth whitening kit for March only. That's more so what you would have as a direct response ad, so that people will see the ad, say, damn, this is interesting. I want to click through and react to it right away, so to say. That's pretty much where you want to go with it. And I talk about these campaigns that we've run. We've ran many, many campaigns like this successfully, direct response campaigns on social, on running banner ads on different websites. If you want to know how to do it really, then you want to subscribe to this channel, because as far as elsewhere, what you find on YouTube, there's really not anybody talking about how to do this. They talk about, what's a display campaign? What's a Facebook ad? They don't really tell you how to make money with these ads, offer construction, and landing pages. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel and you're serious about making ads scale to millions of dollars a year for your business, or millions more, you want to subscribe to this channel, because it's the best information you're going to get. And it's the best because I'm actively spending 40 hours a week putting these campaigns together and sharing with you exactly what works and what doesn't work. Furthermore, by the way, if you like the channel, I got an excellent blog on my site at guaranteeppc.com/blog The blog has even better information because I lay it all out in a step-by-step format, what we're using to guarantee results for our clients with screenshots and everything you need to use to get those results. If you like the channel, you should definitely check that blog out as well. You can find it on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog. With that said, getting back to what I was saying here, the second main reason why ADClarity is not going to help you get rich with your ads is if you don't know the targeting itself behind the ad, you're missing usually such an important piece of the puzzle that the ad's not going to work. Now, granted, I talk about on this channel all the time, the ad's actually the most important thing you got, because if you don't have that right ad with the right offer on it, you'll never get anything to work no matter how targeted your ad is. That said, okay, and at least the ads that these big companies are going to use, the only way it even works halfway well, which they're going to have what I call billboard style ads, domain registration, it's cool, or groceries delivered to your house. The only way that works even remotely is you have more advanced targeting. So at least with the grocery delivery service, you can target people who are in market for the grocery delivery services, or they've subscribed to other home delivery services like that, highly likely to be a buyer of your product or service as well. And they get into using services like LiveRamp, where you can target those kind of audiences. Through LiveRamp, you can target in-market audiences. So if you're ultimately wanting to target people who've bought teeth whitening products to have your teeth straightening product to advertise to them, you can go through LiveRamp. They'll have an audience of past teeth whitening product buyers that you can then import that audience to your Facebook ads account and target those people. Whereas with Facebook by itself, you can't do that. And there's minimums with LiveRamp to be able to do it. So in other words, the big companies usually have access to targeting methods that the little companies don't have. And in order to get the moderate success they are getting with their ads, a lot of it comes down to more being precise with the targeting, not so much with the ad copy. Because those companies, and I understand why they're using these billboard style ads. It's hard to get an offer approved, like a free trial for our product for, August only, because they have to go through committees, and then the owner doesn't want to do it because it sounds, we're not giving away free shit. People will just take advantage of us. And then you can't actually get anything done. So the only way that they have to improve the campaigns is just to work on the targeting, and they focus most of their energy there. Therefore, the ADClarity is not going to help you get the main thing that these big companies do right, okay? Then the third thing to mention here about ADClarity and why it's not that useful for you is that ads are usually not evergreen, okay? You can see on their charts, on their program, that a certain ad was used for a while and then it dropped off, or a certain platform was growing in spend for a while and then it drops off. When you're talking about display advertising and you're targeting smaller interest groups, like in the example that I gave you before, where you're targeting people who are recent buyers of teeth whitening to sell a teeth straightening product, those audiences are only so big, and with the kind of budgets they have, they can only run an ad so much to that person. So then that ad is going to naturally die out, and it looks like an ad's not working when really it was just exhausted, and you're going to go after that person with a similar ad, with a used up ad that nobody cares about anymore. You're already too late to the game, so to say. So there's that, and then naturally on top of it, even just the channels can get exhausted at that level. If you're targeting people on YouTube, or should I say on Facebook in general, that have recently bought teeth whitening products to sell them your teeth straightening product, like Invisalign or whatever, then what you're going to ultimately have is somebody who ignore it now because they've seen it already once or twice, but they're going to ignore all your offers because you're from your company, because they're going to ignore everything from a certain company at a certain point in time. Then it's going to look like it doesn't work when really they were just saturating their audience there of the people that would actually be profitable for them. So this is something you got to take into consideration when you decide how much stock you're going to put in ADClarity's data, so to say. Okay? Which, by the way, again, if you don't know how to do this the correct way, instead of just copying what the big companies are doing, which is typically not going to work, don't have much funds to work with. You watch the content on this channel because I give you all the main principles of somebody who's done it for 20 years and actually had to guarantee results for clients. the way that we're doing it here at our firm to do that. If you have a bit more money, you can reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com, and I can tell you the closest thing that's going to work for you based upon the hundreds of other campaigns we've ran and currently run on an ongoing basis with the kind of estimates of what it can do and then offer a guarantee for you. If you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. We similarly have ad templates for sale. If you don't want to work with an ad agency per se, if we've already worked in your niche market before, like we've worked in the teeth whitening space, to give you an example, well, we can give you all the winning ads that we've developed for that space, and you can copy paste them into your account and get the results that way, and we can tell you the results you're going to get with it up front. We've got people that use these templates to start whole other businesses from scratch. If you wanted to sell teeth whitening products, you use our template to sell it, and you're already in business. Now, naturally, the ads have to get some traction and have to gather some data in your account. Even though you have the exact ad and landing page that'll work, it doesn't mean it'll work instantly, but after 90 days, you got a good business already. We've got many people that have used our templates to sell products. We've got people that use our templates to generate leads and sell the leads to other businesses in that niche. We got people that use the templates to subcontract out work. They had a tree service they started, and all they do is answer the phone with our campaign, and then they sub out the work to another local company, and they have a business already, which can be $1 million business already just by doing that alone with our templates. If you're interested in any of those templates, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. We've got hundreds of templates and hundreds of different niche markets because we've been operating so long here at Guaranteed PPC, and we can tell you the results you're going to get with it up front. So at the very least, you should find out what results we got in your niche market already if you're wanting to get results faster than you're getting it now. That said, the fourth reason why ADClarity is not going to help you make millions of dollars running ads for your business, at least all in itself, is the ads messaging you're going to find from these big companies reads like a freaking billboard, as I kind of mentioned before, which doesn't bring fast returns. These ads do actually work, that like Coca-Cola, they don't have targeted ads where they're targeting people that drink Pepsi and trying to get them to convert over, which is the normal direct response advertising that most people, they need to use to build up a company from scratch. So they can turn $1 into $2 and then $2 into $4 and so forth. At a certain level, you're just trying to make every single person have seen your branding so that when they go to buy, they're going to buy from you because you're the branded option. Half the buyers in a market like in the teeth straightening space, like Invisalign, they're just going to buy from the brand name when the time comes that they're ready to do it. And so all they're doing is making sure that the person knows that you're the brand. So when the day comes to buy, they already have it already. Because if you wait till they are in market to do that, it's too late already, and the brand's already going to have them by the time you could build up a perceived brand identity, seem like a brand in the user's mind there. At the beginning, you're going to market to people with what you're doing that are already in market when you're starting to build up your company to try to make a better offer, better landing page and all that than your competitors. At a certain point, you won't be able to grow that way, so to say, especially when you have to hire people that are not as good as you as advertisers. And then you have to just start more so over time. And you don't necessarily have to do it, but because of the people that you need to hire that needs to do what you need to do, and it's hard to find good people, or in general, because there's only so many people raising their hands saying, I'm looking for teeth retainers for straightening teeth. So on a monthly basis, you have to start getting out in front of everybody before they're going to buy, so that when they go to buy, the portion of the market that's just going to go with the brand option, they go to you, and that's the main way to grow it at that point in time. With that said, the billboard messaging of, have you considered straightening your teeth with Invisalign or a straightening product? That ad, if you start up a new company and try to build it up from that targeting with even really good targeting, is not going to build your company up the way that you want. Or at least it's going to take so long. It's like putting a drop in an ocean. You're never going to get anywhere with it. You got to start out with the stuff where you're targeting people in market typically, and you got to make them a good offer. We know you're in market for teeth retainers, straighten your teeth. Therefore, we're going to give you, there's a 30% off on all of our teeth retainers for the month of August. Just click on this ad and enter your email, and we'll send you the voucher. You got to do something like that to be able to essentially suck out the demand and seem better than your competition. And it's not that hard to do, and it doesn't have to be related to discounting. It could simply be, we compared all the teeth retainers to each other, and we show you on a video what's the best value for price? You get them to watch it. Of course, they watch it. They see your product is the best for the value. And because of that, they're going to get it from you. But if you blasted that out to the general public, there's not enough people looking for a retainer at any given time. That's not going to work. But the big companies are just going to blast it out, knowing that they're not going to get a return for a long time, but eventually it'll come in, so to say, because they're going to be the perceived brand in that space. Then the last thing I wanted to mention here, which if you have a question still, like whether ADClarity can do something for you or a certain question about the program, because I have used it, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person. Leave me a question or comment on this channel, usually within about 24 hours time. The last reason why you don't necessarily want to use ADClarity if you're trying to make your ads work is budgets have to be spent either way at these big companies. It's like the military. At the end of the fiscal year, they haven't spent all their budget. They're going to go piss away all old ammo or whatever, just because next year they're not going to get as big a budget if they don't spend it all. Big companies operate this way. Ad spend's got to get spent either way. Otherwise, next year they're not going to get the same budget, and then they aren't going to be able to keep their jobs easily if they don't have that budget or whatever. Not only that, but more so than that, I would say, even when they say you need to spend $50,000 in ads this year, you have to spend the $50,000. And if they don't spend the $50,000, they're going to be like, what the hell happened, man? You only spent $40,000? Why is that? They're actively going to question you didn't spend it all. Which is why I said you can't rely on these big companies to start with, because the goal isn't to make the company money per se. The goal is, how do I not get fired? The way I don't get fired is not rocking the boat too much, not doing anything too edgy or anything that might, stir up a ruckus. It's just do what a normal person, that person that hired me, would expect from that person, and that's it. Not to think outside the box. You start getting opinionated and disagreeing with people. I know because I've done it before. You start pissing people off and they don't like it. And then you learn real quick that you don't do that. And then so everything is just really mediocre and you can't rely on it anymore. So with that said, okay, that is basically what you need to know before you start using this data. Now, if you still want to use the data, go right out ahead, but it should be used as a signal, not necessarily as, hey, we're just going to copy this because it's working over here, for all the reasons that I mentioned. With that said, if you wanted to know how to really make money with ads, I told you there would be a couple case studies for you if you stayed at the end of the video. One example of a display advertising campaign that we ran, given I told you the big thing that gets display campaigns to work, that is non-search engine ads to work for your business, if you're a small company and you can't wait forever for a return, is you come out with a really great offer for your intended target market. In the roofing space, we sold roofs for $89 a month, which other roofing companies have a financing plan, but they didn't word it like that. And being more direct like that gets people that normally needed a roof but weren't quite able to afford it a really good opportunity to respond to us, which we get a lot of people that would respond to that didn't have good credit, but the cost per lead was still cheap enough that we could make it work, okay? We've sold makeup for companies where we had a 30-day, a free trial on the makeup. We sold them a big package or gave them a big package of makeup of the eyeliner, foundation. This is a startup brand. And all they had to do was agree that if they liked it, that we could get them a subscription program every 30 days afterwards, okay? So we ran that campaign and it was really successful. It was immediately profitable for us, at least when you consider the assumed value of the revenue that we're going to get from the average length of time that they're going to be with us on a paid basis. 10-20% stayed on the paid subscription plan, but those people stayed on an average 6 months. That's a good example of how you have to think outside the box most of the time in order to get these display ads to work, because nobody cares about your ad unless there's something in it for them right then and there, generally speaking. In this case, everybody wants free makeup, okay? Yes, they may not want it anymore once they realize they have to put their credit card in so that after 30 days, they're automatically going to be shipped more. What the average person is going to do is just expect to have the makeup there and to say, hey, this is great makeup, you should buy it. Or a little bit better would be, I use this makeup and look how good it looks on me or whatever, which is a lot better. But where the magic really starts is, hey, I use this makeup, it works for me, and I got it from XYZ company that's giving free samples out at XYZ domain. and then you use that funnel to drive traffic to your site. And then you have to, people don't want to do this though, because it's complicated and it's risky and it's scary. Oh, maybe people will just get it and they won't buy, or not enough people will buy. This is where testing comes in. You have to be able to test really creative strategies like that to get actual display ads to work, because you're wasting your time going at them directly saying, we offer a roofing service or we offer this makeup, so to say. So that's a couple examples of campaigns that we ran, of the hundreds of display campaigns that we've ran over the last over decade of running this firm that were successful and that can work. You know, you can get into doing a lot. I mean, once you understand how this kind of works, it's actually kind of easy to find something that will work for your brand. You can have a contest where you could say, like we've had before, if you come in and you're able to make 10 out of 10 baskets, we'll give you this free car and at a car dealership, and it gets people in the door. And once they're there, a lot of people won't want to buy a car, but there's foot traffic now. And doing stuff like this and really getting creative, and then understanding that out of all this foot traffic, we got 1 or 2% to buy. Those 1 or 2% that buy made this much revenue, and we spent this much ad spend to get them in the door. Okay, the math works. That's what you got to be able to be good at doing if you're going to get this stuff to work. Not copying what big companies are doing, because they're playing a whole different game than you're playing right now. Unless you're a big company, and yes, if you are a big company, you're a marketing manager at a company, $100 million plus a year, you can glean a little bit of information from them, but still, even then, not much. Great returns comes from being scrappy and not thinking, how do we have one ad that we can blanket everything with and that'll work for everything? It's how can we make a good offer that'll work for a certain target market, and how can we get a funnel going that will really take someone's interest and attention and turn it into revenue one step at a time and seduce a person into wanting to do business with us, because those are the best. Particularly when you can do it when you have stuff that doesn't even look like an ad. It looks like a customer of yours talking about it. Those are our favorite, which are called UGC style ads. Or even better, you have a news station talking about it. Fox News, shows, oh, XYZ company has a free trial, and then it looks even more enticing, which we do a lot of that as well, which you can pay to get on any news station or whatever that you want for, $10,000, $20,000, and that ad looks super, super interesting once they get an ad in their newsfeed talking about it. What somebody else says about you and your offer will be more powerful than what you can say about your offer itself. So you want a good offer, but you also want the messenger to hopefully be somebody else, because they're going to believe what that messenger says and pay attention to it, the more so than it coming from your own mouth, so to say. So anyway, with that said, I'm getting a little bit carried away here. I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said display advertising campaigns was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.